lockout. We'll see if it can work for him against Fnatic this time around. He played it in game 1 as well, remember. But look at this. Karthus, a potential for Peke this time around.
One of the very strong picks in case it was logged in against the likes of XingsZhao here, because he jumps into your face. Yes, he can actually shoot you a little bit away here, but not too far. It wasn't matter too much unless it's just when you're about to die and you spawn in a bad place. However, they swap away from it here. One thing we need to remember is XingsZhao in a lane swap is very strong at pushing their turrets early on. He does a lot of damage and he pushes very fast. So it means for SK, if they do get the lane swap here, they should be able to be faster than Fnatic.
As is Janna. That shield will give you attack bonus damage to your AD
Very
carry.
true.
Shields in there, heals in there, good control as well, the intervention. See how that all works out for what SK going to finish off with here. Looking for the top lane and the AD carry. Trundle would be my guess because it's open and Freddy plays a lot of Trundle.
They need to remember there's a very high chance it's going to be a Lulu or Soraka being logged in for Fnatic over here. Keep in mind we got Kayle, we got Janna, so with the Soraka we actually see the exact same comp they used against the Lions here. A lot of shields, a lot of heals, and of course Kha'Zix with 50% damage reduction. Do decide not to go with the Soraka, but actually just log in the Lulu here for Soaz. So the same matchup up in top lane here. We saw actually Freddy going very aggressive onto Soaz in the game. Didn't actually manage to kill him, he always just escaped, but still, Freddy had the pressure in the lane. Soaz didn't even care because once it comes to team fights, he brings so much utility to the team here. So we actually see close to the same comp they used against the Lions with kite, shields, heal everywhere.
Well, I believe they would have gone with Lulu probably in that comp. I think Lulu was banned away in that game if memory serves correct, which is why they probably switched across to that Soraka. Running a similar style. Hasn't of course got the big heal, the wish, the ultimate heal, but shields, buffs, everything that comes out of Lulu. We've just seen it. We've seen Sociais playing it. He has played fantastic on it the last 3 games.
Yeah, and that's well, what we also saw is lane swaps don't really favor the Lulu because she doesn't get to be the lane bully here. So for SK's side, they want to get this lane swap going actually. They want to get XingsZhao up there with Karma, with Twitch, and just start pushing down, get a few turrets, and of course trade them, or most likely trade them with Fnatic. I don't expect to see Fnatic trying to defend the lane swap like they did in the last game.
It was all, last game was all a little bit strange, wasn't it? I mean, we saw Fnatic send 2 guys down bottom, leave
Level
2
1
up top, end up losing your 2 guys down bottom 2. Quite granted for SK Gaming, a very well executed 3-on-2 dive on that tower. Then they tried it in the top lane on Freddy and they just did it all wrong and Reckless ended up dying there. So definitely a lot to improve on that front from Fnatic. I think there was a lack of a clear call there. That's what it seemed. It was very half-hearted. They're at 2-0 right now. They can afford some mistakes, but you don't want to let SK Gaming kind of get back on that horse and have the confidence coming back into the rest of these games.
Well, they had confidence in that game. They had 4,000 gold lead and they let it wash away in that one single team fight that turned it around and gave Fnatic such huge objective control, taking the Baron, taking the towers, and eventually, of course, winning out the game. It was a fantastic turnaround for Fnatic, and that's going to knock the confidence of SK as a team.
And looking now here at these comps, we got actually one thing on SK's side which can end up being very, very annoying for them actually about their own comp is the fact that Orianna, Twitch, and Shyvana, they all rely so much on their ultimates. So if they use them in the start of a fight, and then Janna with the Kayle, of course, with Lulu, if they reset the fight, these ultimates are gone. That's where Fnatic can just continue fighting over and over and over. They're looking for these very long team fights. So once all the ultimates are gone from SK, if the disengage is there from Fnatic, they can turn it around and win. However, though, if SK actually manage to really nail all these ultimates, they can also blow someone up.
SK have been spotted actually moving through there. It was Cyanide in the brush that saw that happening already. We see that Soaz and Reckless have moved into a forward position, actually an interesting position as well, taking the tri-bush option for now. We're wondering if they're going to sit around here and hope for a kill. They're obviously going to want to have that blue buff back on their side just to reset any possible exchange that would have happened. They, of course, don't know that SK have backed away.
Yeah, and this is the difference. We did see the ward pickup, of course, by Yellow Star. Haven't seen where he's used it. It's down the bottom there, I can see it. Yeah, there it is on the bottom of the map. So he's made sure that they don't pass through that bottom half of the river. So it seems that Fnatic are going to go for invade, and SK are actually really either going to go for a very delayed, which is looking like they're going to hold back. Yeah, they're going to go in. They realize they were spotted out. They're going to go for the delayed invade. It's going to be a blue buff exchange.
So both teams, again, late invading, getting the buffs from each other and also the lane swap here. So let's see how Fnatic or SK will do this. Will they send Freddy with Svenskeren down the bottom lane, have this 4-man push and just rush the first 2 turrets down? Because again, the bot lane is going to take more damage than the top lane, so they should be faster. And Svenskeren is actually, once he takes the blue and goes to the red, he's already down around this bottom lane area, so he can quickly join in with his team, who's building up the big wave, and then start pushing down.
Very, very interesting start. Once again, actually, Soaz is sticking around that top side of the map then, so let's see how that one all goes. Candy Panda and N-Rated already started off the farming down on the bottom side. We can see there that Xin and Shyvana actually waited inside of the tri-bush area, took away that white as well. No real action offered up to them, and in fact, Cyanide is pretty much mirroring that on the other side of the map.
Well, Svenskeren's gone back to get the red buff, but Freddy has backed away, so he's not sticking around with that bottom yet. We're not going to get the 4-man push just yet. Of course, we are still only at the 3-minute mark, so there's plenty of time for that. We'll see where Freddy heads off to. Cyanide's doing the exact same thing as Svenskeren, both getting that red buff secured. And we also saw Soaz has backed off to base as well. So both of them picking up items. It is actually the Fairy Charm being picked up by Soaz, so getting that mana regen on there, whereas Freddy didn't actually pick up an item.
Soaz is going to go for the Murillo Normicon as his first item once again. And it's a very good starting item because it gives him 75 AP and actually doesn't cost too much either. It's cheaper than the Affine's, gives more AP. It's a very strong starting item. And obviously the healing reduction whenever someone is under 40% always helps. However though, Svenskeren decided to come down to this bottom lane, pushing in with the rest of SK's dual lane, and meanwhile up in the top, Fnatic doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's going to be a faster turret, first turret of the game going over to SK Gaming here in the bottom. Fnatic themselves already got that 3-man push in the top side of the map now. You see that the 2 top laners just behind the mid lane as they're almost mirroring each other in their movements across the map right now, and Fnatic are going to finish off this tower and keep
They're
going,
far behind.
I assume.
They're very, very far behind in this. SK is already at the 2nd turret, and this one hasn't gone down yet before now, so Fnatic very far behind it. Pekka taking a lot of damage.
Pekka taking a hell of a lot of damage. So is Jesus, though. There's a minion wave hitting him as well. So Jesus have to back away from this one. As you were talking about, Soaz actually took a hell of a beating as well. The Wolves nearly took him down. SK have taken down the inner turret, and Fnatic only just reached SK's own inner turret in that top lane. They're going to keep on pushing in towards this inhibitor turret. And again, Fnatic having to react to this one. SK winning out in the rotations early game.
Definitely winning out here. Both N-Rated and Cyanide, Svenskeren now. What am I talking about? Yellow Star and Cyanide recalled. N-Rated, of course, not on Fnatic anymore. Recalled, coming back here to defend this one. So SK needs to back away. And they do often this thing where they actually leave Reckless to just solo farm, and the rest decides to do something else on the map. He is defending this turret. SK won't be able to actually get into it. So still trading 2 turrets for 1. Definitely in favor of SK Gaming.
Very nicely done there. And as you said, Reckless is just going to be left here in this top lane as Pekka actually going low again in the middle. Jesus low, so they're really fighting to their outer limits at this stage of things. Still a flash available for both. There is the knock-up actually coming all towards N-Rated. Slow will land as well. Don't know if Cyanide's got enough damage. Actually, that is a hell of a lot of damage. And here comes Yellow Star from the side. Exhaust goes down. N-Rated is surely going to fall. Speeds himself up with the shield on. Gets the slow, but a flashing from Cyanide. Give first blood to Fnatic.
Sloppy play by SK Gaming. Recalling out in the open, even though they knew there were people at recall. But down the bottom lane, Candy Panda stealthing in.
Trying to catch on towards him. Freddy will come in with Candy Panda. They have the speed boost. Reckless does have his flash available if he wants to try and get out of this one. And it seems that he will without any problem whatsoever. Jesus now maybe the next focus here, but you got to give credit to Yellow Star. He started that all off against his ex-support.
Yeah, he was just waiting around and saw N-Rated in the middle, like just standing out in the open, not even hiding away, just recalling, and he just interrupted him. And they could chase on here, of course, red buff and also the slows coming in from Cyanide to get the kill.
Yeah, they definitely weren't expecting Fnatic to push them back as hard as they did there and now find them out there in the jungle. This mid lane been interesting up until now, and whilst we've not seen a kill, both players have gone very, very low multiple times. Jesus did bring that heal compared to the exhaust that Peke has in there. Peke is currently storming himself, farming himself up a bit of a lead. 48 to 45, still a very slim lead, of course. Now Candy Panda and N-Rated, of course, switch lanes because they took down not just the outer, but the inner turret as well on this bottom side of the map. And now Reckless is going to be pushing through once again. And again, it's Freddy that's going to meet him head on down there.
Yeah, he's going to try and take some of that damage mitigation. Look at this top lane, though. Cyanide in the bush right now with Soaz there. And he's like, no, don't want this, don't want... Nobody, though, from SK is checking that bush, and he will back away from this one. Soaz is already stepping away. Cyanide lives to breathe another day. SK, though, they're going to take this top turret.
Yeah, SK just rotating around the map with these 3 people. Svenskeren once again with the team here, fast pushing down the turrets. Cyanide was very lucky he didn't get caught out there.
Bottom turret is also going down. Fnatic, it's only Reckless and Yellowstar that are down there, though, but that shield actually being used on Yellowstar so he can tank out the minions. That's going to be another turret exchange. It's still an advantage, though, for SK. 3-2.
3-2. That one will eventually go down. One thing that's interesting, though, now is this top lane and whether they can stop this push going on, whether Fnatic are going to keep going on that bottom side of the map, exactly what the plan is. It looks like, actually, SK are going to stick here and try and take down that top lane. They're 3-2. The bottom lane is 2 versus 1, and they are going to actually dive in here on towards Soaz. He's level 5, so doesn't have that wild growth just yet, and in the end, he has to use the flash to get away.
And Fnatic is simply giving up these turrets here. It's so easy for SK to just rotate around. And the response from Fnatic, well, they keep 2 members in the bot lane to push here. They need to get this second turret as well.
They're going to try to keep on pushing for it. They are kind of taking it down to half hit points, and Freddy really helpless in keeping this one away. Reckless does take a little bit of damage on towards Freddy, but that is the top inner turret. So now 4 turrets, all top and bottom down for SK Gaming, putting a great pressure on towards Fnatic once again in the early game.
And Freddy now, he can actually clear the next wave with his ultimate to defend this turret, and SK can rotate down and help him out.
And speaking of that rotation, we see that Jesus is moving down there, and Fnatic actually are going to recall away from this one after being so close to taking out that turret. N-rated and the rest of SK Gaming have done so much damage up on that top side. And actually Twitch still there up against Lulu, but look at this. They're going to face check into this one. There's the knockup. Who's the focus going to be? Svenskeren will ulti there and dive towards Cyanide. Shockwave jumps away from. Now it's N-rated that's focused. He's going to die. It's 1-0. SK backing away. They might lose a tower as well.
Fnatic should be able to get a lot of damage at least. The minion wave is not there. Next one is coming in here. Pekka going on the turret actually to get some damage on Jesus here. But Fnatic moving up from the bottom lane. Yellowstar with the Hurricane, knocking up 2 members, starting the whole thing, and then the Shockwave actually. Cyanide, he jumped out of it just when he activated it from Jess's side.
Yeah, and Candy Panda's been keeping Soaz busy in his top lane. And that's a danger, because if he goes back, if he goes for that Blade of the Rune King start on the Twitch, he would almost certainly be looking to try and create a play and kill Soaz out. Cyanide, he's going to get spotted by that ward. He's not going to be able to sneak up on Candy Panda like he wishes he could. And he will step away from this one. So, let's take a recap on what has happened. SK, great start, push the bottom, got through the inhibitor turret, rotate back around, and push the top down. Fnatic have been a little slow to react to every time they've done this.
Very slow, actually. I mean, both times they end up trading 2 turrets for only 1, because they keep both Yellowstar and Reckless down the bottom to get this turret down. Yellowstar didn't decide to recall. He went for the next one with Reckless, so in the top lane, SK could just take another one. And credit to SK Gaming, really been working these fast pushing very well, but Fnatic should have reacted a lot better. Should have sent Yellowstar up there to defend with the team.
To be fair though, both turrets are decently low here, so at some point Fnatic can push through and have them. That's a lot of damage there onto Pekka. Jesus actually pretty much full mana from this one, so he can continue to try and zone them away from a defensive position. Seems like it's worked at least for this wave, but that's a 4-man stack. Fnatic need to do something about this.
Well, the main wave there is actually in the bottom lane for Reckless, so he's not there to help them out, meaning SK can get a lot of damage onto this turret.
Okay, with no mana, he's desperately trying to keep them away, but this middle turret will go down. SK continue their dominance in turret control. Diving in there, Svenskeren just drops Pekka where he stands. Pekka had his intervention, just didn't use it in time.
So much burst damage coming in from Svenskeren here. Just straight onto him, instant dead. No, Flash was ready, intervention was ready, didn't use any of it.
And now that effect is going to cost them a little bit more than just that single kill. They're going to lose their blue buff. Looks like they will be losing a dragon as well, as SK back away onto that one. And that's going to give them a comfortable little lead here, just 12 or so minutes into this game.
We need to see whether SK with this domination, with this control, with this objective punishment they're putting on towards Fnatic, whether they can actually make use of it this time around. They had a bigger advantage in the second game, which Fnatic managed to turn around, and with that Kale, if he manages to get farm going, if Sociais manages to get going on it, it could start to be a problem. And of course, we all know how good a Janna's Monsoon is at keeping people away from towers.
Yeah.
Don't forget there's the culling in there. Peke will have great wave clear. Really, they don't have great tower pressure once they get onto the tower, SK.
And it's a very good point as well, because when you use Twitch, it's actually very hard for him to get up and hit the turrets if Fnatic is there to defend, because again, you have no jumps. So if they engage onto you when you're standing there hitting the turret, you're just going to stay there and you're going to be the target. They can pile onto you and just kill you. So it's going to be hard for SK to actually go straight up and push the turrets. Still though, if they can manage to do this, swap around the lanes very fast like they've been doing so far, get the dragons, they can extend the lead, and then this time around they can actually dive. It's going to be hard of course, but when you have these two tanks in both Zhao and gone very aggressive on turn red here from Peke.
This could be bad news. We are going to see the ball thrown out towards Sociais. Some decent damage, but not enough to actually finish things off. That's a 3 versus 2 in this mid lane though. Have they got enough for the tower? Make it 4 now. In fact, Cyanide is going to be in there as they slow down Jesus. This could be bad news for Jesus. Can they finish him off? Peke going to get locked up here. It all of a sudden turns around, and now it's Fnatic on the back foot running away.
Quick reactions from SK. Candy Panda wasn't even there. If he had been, I think that shockwave would have been pulled and Candy Panda would have had that spray and pray, and Fnatic would have been all sorts of trouble. And you know, I was talking about how they can't really siege down, but if Fnatic keep making these mistakes, they won't need to, because they'll just wipe out Fnatic and take those turrets for free. They've been out-rotating them so far, and which is why they've taken those turrets down. Fnatic have to be there to defend the turrets in the first place.
And a lot of farm for Candy Panda down this lane here. He's really, with the gold from the turrets, with the gold from Dragon, and now with all this farm. Early Bloodthirster decided not to go for Blade of the Ruined Kings, so he doesn't seem like he wants to go for at least the one-on-one fights, but he's going to be more for team fights, stronger.
I think that was a bait from Yellow Star. Even though he wanted to come home, I think he knew that that ward was there, and he had Cyanide actually waiting just behind him on that wall. They've also seen Svenska now coming up towards this red buff. Ward's already been put in position. Cyanide, though, a little bit too scared. I think this is going to be a red buff steal. Or maybe not.
But with that Feral Flare building as well on Svenska, and he can't afford to let this
go.
He
got it.
Does manage to get it away there with the smite used for Cyanide. No surprises. He is the king of smite steals in Europe, and he's keeping that crown very much placed on his head right now. In terms of farm across all the champions, it's generally quite close. You can see it's what, a 9-10 CS difference. That can easily change between waves on the AD carries. Ooh, Cyanide's got to back away from this one. Candy Panda catching on towards his spray and pray being used on Yellow Star. Peke is there if he wants to try and turn his fight around, but Candy Panda gets the kill. Peke, for some reason, chose not to use his intervention on his support, uses it on himself, and now it's going to be SK. They're taken low. Svenska trying to back away from this one. Reckless comes in, he gets himself one. Cyanide goes deep on towards it. Candy Panda tries to stealth himself up, but it's going to be a second for Reckless. Cyanide is going to go down to the poison dot. Candy Panda gets himself another. Now Enrated's in trouble. Reckless trying to speed up. One more shot should be enough, but he's got no vision. He does put the ward down again, doesn't have the vision. Now he will turn it around. Reckless, one more shot. The shield comes out from Enrated, and he gets away.
So much healing from Enrated as well, staying alive here. Meanwhile, top lane, Soaz had to run away from Freddy, actually going down towards this mid lane. Had to use the ultimate as well just to get away, but now clearing out here. Teamfight wise though, Fnatic surviving the upfront burst from SK, and then they just chase on and try and pick up the kills.
Is that just a matter of time here though? Will that get to a point where SK like, okay, we can burn through everything that they've got right now? We see a few more items coming out there, for example, Morella Nomicon, Nash's Tooth in there for XPK as well. Does it get to a point where the shield and the heals aren't going to be enough?
Yeah, so the thing is, the issue for Fnatic with the intervention is it's only on one target. You got AoE on Twitch with his spray and pray, of course. You got AoE from Jesus with his shockwave, so there's so many people who should be taking damage from Fnatic that it's going to be hard to actually pick the target for both Source and Expected here. So it's going to be a lot about Yellow Star trying to reset the fights after the big ultimates has been used by SK.
Well, Soaz has got himself some free farm in that top lane. Freddy will be heading on up there on Shyvana and keeping themselves entertained for a while. We saw this in game 2, of course, a very similar situation, identical situation almost. But blue buff may well get stolen away. SK have just thrown a ward down on it. Svenskeren coming around. He's going to be fancy stacking out that Wriggles. Monsoon used by Yellow Star to keep them at bay. Teleport coming in, Soaz wants it.
This could be very dangerous when Svenskeren actually is up front right now. Both Cyanide and Peke escaping off the one side. That slow will stop them chasing in, but we will see the blue stolen away. Goes on to Svenskeren. Peke going to actually chase him down here. There's a slow from Cyanide. All to use from Svenskeren. One more swipe will do it. It's Peke that gets the kill in the end. And now Fnatic may look to chase this one. Soaz has speeded in from the side, but I don't think they're quite quick enough to get in there.
So Svenskeren decided to dash over the wall into the blue buff while the rest of his team was on the other side and they were actually moving away from the blue buff. So Peke simply just walked in there and Svenskeren was all alone. No flash on him. Easy pick up here. Blue buff also over to Peke.
Yeah, double buff actually went across to Peke. That's the worst thing from that one. And he was quite happy to, let's say, Svenskeren, you want to smite that away? I'm going to kill you for it anyway. So I'll just take it back what is rightfully mine. That actually gives a kill, an important kill across to Peke on Kayle, because if Kayle can get going, but Candy Panda fancies this one. Pops out spray and play onto Reckless. Actually didn't use spray and play, just used the ambush actually. The coming out of stealth, the attack speed ability on there. Cyanide tries to start up the Dragon, but SK Gaming rotating around and actually bullying Fnatic away from this one, who are regrouping to maybe go back in for an attack.
No ultimate yet onto Svenskeren. He needs a bit of time before it's ready. Everything is ready on the side here, except for actually the Monsoon on yellow side. Could be very important in this fight. Let's see how Fnatic will handle all the damage come out of SK. Look here, Candy Penny going towards Soaz.
Soaz going to get chased down. Can he get away? The slow does land, but he's already shielded up all of that damage. Fnatic here do get a double knock-up. Will they follow through on it? No, and now Twitch is going to rejoin the party. Soaz is not actually there with the team. He needs to come into the team and not from that isolated backside position. I think that would be bad news for him if SK just peel off and kill him first. Right now, it's a bit of a standstill here in River as Soaz just testing the waters here as to where he can actually get back in.
It's a very dangerous situation. They can't get caught in the pit, Fnatic, with that Twitch around. That spray and pray, we already saw it in the previous match yesterday, where I think it was Candy Panda again on Twitch, managed to actually wreck through Roccat. And at the moment, SK Gaming just take that Dragon with ease. Oh, Reckless actually caught out here. There's going to be the stealth bomber coming out. There's the spray and pray on towards him. Wild growth being used. They're going to try and turn this one back around. The culling on towards Candy Panda is enough damage. Meanwhile, out the back line, Peke get him to use the intervention on himself. Cyanide trying to catch out. Peke goes down. Svenskeren's the one that catches. Enrated's going to get the stun down on towards Cyanide. He comes back in there. Good Howling Gale and Monsoon used from Yellow Star. Forces SK away.
But Fnatic, they completely split up here. Yellow Star was trying to run over to Soaz to help him out. Meanwhile, Peke and Soaz from the back line jumping on to SK, and they just turn around and kill Peke here. Sanad managed to get out alive, and we see Candy Panda stealthing in towards people all the time. This is where I would actually love to see the Build Rune King, so it means he can slow down the target as well, get his team to join in easier for them, and overall it's better when he actually stealths in like this. But very nice setup with the ball. Reckless, as soon as it's there, he dashes away. He gets a lot of health though from this wild growth from Lulu.
And the culling as well. Masses of damage there to Candy Panda. This move that you were talking about before, not what you needed.
No.
Want to win games.
I mean, look at Yellow Star here. He was moving up to the rest of the team because he was like, we are gonna retrieve away from this one. But no, two members actually decided to go in and gave up a free kill.
A little bit of a communication error for Fnatic. It leaves Soaz with a gigantic wave in the top lane. He's going to be happy to take all of that gold away. And SK Gaming are a little bit splintered right now. Freddy's going to try and take away those wraiths. Enrated in there in support, but that's going to get smited away by Cyanide. Still very tight in gold. It's a 3k advantage so far for SK. Reckless trying to lay down some damage and protect that pink ward, but that will be cleared out by SK. Peke, he's got himself some free farm, but there is a rat moving towards him who may fancy his chances now that he's got that Phantom Dancer along with the Bloodthirster.
Very, very risky for him to try and 1v1 Peke though. Okay, Source is not up yet, but once it's actually up there, you can put it onto him, and then with the intervention, there's a lot of damage Peke can avoid from Candy Panda here, and of course, we know how strong Kayle becomes later on. I mean, the damage you can bring out is not going to be good for Candy Panda.
A bit more tug of war between those lanes as they get pushed further in and out. Fnatic know that only a couple of hits onto this middle turret from Peke and Reckless would probably just knock that one straight out of things. In the end, though, they decide, okay, there's 2 people here. We can't really see the rest of the team. We should probably start backing away. Freddy started to become a little bit unmanageable for Soaz on this top side, although that did happen a fair amount of time ago already. We saw the last time that they had a mini fight in middle that by the time he got down, he'd already used the wild growth because Freddy is strong enough to force that out.
Yeah, so Soaz won't be able to kill Freddy 1v1. He's just going to be there to wave clear. And Candy Panda going very aggressive part.
Managed to put the spray and pray down. We talked about this fight. This is the intervention being used. Candy Panda flashing away from it. He's got support though. Svenskeren comes in, but there's Cyanide. Leaps on towards Candy Panda. The unseen threat's not going to work out. Oh, Svenskeren a little too late. He's now in a 2v1 situation, but he's on to Cyanide. Cyanide going to go down. Wild growth being used. Freddy joins the fray. He teleports in. Cyanide's being left alone, and it is a 2-for-1 to SK Gaming, and now you can see Jezz and Enrated being kept at bay by the call-in from Reckless.
And we just talked about this 1v1 in the bottom lane. There was no exhaust on Pekka's side. He needs it to 1v1 Candy Panda. Soaz though, coming in behind Jezz.
Is he going to be able to pick up anything? The slow is going to land there on towards Jezz. Reckless is actually chasing Enrated on the top side, and he's going to get those double auto attacks off the speed boost there from Enrated. Reckless does have vision, but there is a slow, and that'll stop him getting in for the kill. Enrated actually blocked the cull-in there, I think, quite willingly, so that the minions didn't go down and they could keep doing damage to the turret as well.
Very, very smart move. But the whole thing in bottom lane here, Pekka, he cannot make the same mistake. He needs to win out on this split push wall against Candy Panda. Exhaust is ready for next time they fight, so let's see how it goes.
So, tight match so far. Still just 3,000 gold between them, and both these teams showing willingness to fight actually in the open, as opposed to the last few games where it's been a very tucked up affair where everybody just tries to shove onto those towers. Of course, we did see the towers crumbling early on. SK Gaming taking down 5 of Fnatic's to just 2 for Fnatic themselves, and more importantly, Fnatic's entire lane wave is exposed, and it's dangerous times every time Fnatic push down those waves. We just saw it there with Peke. He was a little too far down the wave, and SK fancied taking a bite out of that one. Freddy doing the same thing. He's shoving up in towards that top lane, and SK are quite happily free farming here.
Just getting all the farm they need. We talk about how strong the combo is.
Again.
Candy Panda going in again.
Oh, will he take it this time? There is the turnaround. There is the exhaust. Look at this time, though. Peke is hammering on some Candy Panda. Is it enough damage? Yes, it is. Peke doesn't go below half HP.
Such a difference. They exhaust 50% damage reduction and 30% attack speed taken away from Candy Panda. Such a difference.
It does mean that this middle turret is going to go down, though. SK Gaming stroll on in. The question is, will Fnatic let them walk out? Peke hasn't joined them. Cyanide was looking to go aggressive. Soaz trying to sneak around the side, but that is the 6th turret of the game. That's the 3rd one for Fnatic as Peke does himself some free farming along the bottom. Fnatic are actually pushing up on this one. Soaz has been caught out. Wild growth having to be used out here. It's the top laner and support that catch him out. He's going to drag a descent across on towards him. Soaz taken so low from this one. There he goes. It's Enrated that gets himself the kill.
Very, very nice pick up by SK. We're waiting for Soaz to move in there to ward and just collapse onto him. And Yellow Star was not in a position to use his ultimate to save him. He couldn't get around there.
Trying to delay a bit of time, I think, as well, so that Peke could keep pushing on that bottom lane. Did get the inner turret, but Candy Panda was able to recall and push that wave all the way back in. It still leaves us, though, at 7-7 kills. It's still only a 3k gold lead for SK. That will change here, though, with this Dragon, which I don't see Fnatic being able to challenge for.
Peke's, no, he decided not to move down there.
Yeah, the Dragon being taken away by SK Gaming. I want to talk about Twitch right now, because we've seen Candy Panda doing exactly what we see many Twitches doing over in Korea. Korea have managed to really pick up Twitch again sooner, but he hasn't gone with the Blade of the Rune King, which generally is the first item you go with if you want to go for those one-on-ones.
Yeah, just basically the way he's building it now makes him a bit weaker 1v1. I'm not sure if he's going to build a Blade Rune King later. I actually didn't expect to fight 1v1 here early on in the game. Maybe he was just expecting to farm out the wave, farm out the lanes, and then go back with his team. But he's actually been fancying these fights, and we saw the difference here. When there was an exhaust onto Peke, when he had it ready and put it onto Candy Panda, it was a very one-sided fight in favor of Peke.
Doesn't have that exhaust for quite a while, though, and that was one of the major reasons why you're going to win that fight against him.
He's going again.
Oh, He is going in again, and I don't think Yellow Star's going to quite be able to do that as he throws down the Monsoon. Yeah, spray and pray use. Easy kill there. Easy, easy stuff for Candy Panda. And this now is the turn onto Baron. This is where Cyanide is going to have to be a hero.
Well, Pega is far away. He's moving over here. Baron is going down very, very fast, almost down to 50%. Cyanide put in the ward. It should be cleared up very fast. He needs to just blindly jump in.
No spray and pray, remember. No exhaust either. They can't lock down Candy Panda. He's putting the damage down. There comes the Culling around the side. Cyanide tries to jump in, just gets destroyed though straight away. Peke goes in. Svenskerin's already taken that Baron down. Peke's in all sorts of trouble. His intervention works out. Svenskeren gets himself another. This time it is a champion, and that is a 2 for 0 and the Baron for SK Gaming.
Very, very quick decision making from SK. As soon as they pick up the kill on Yellow Star here, well played by Candy Panda, by the way, stealthing in, getting the kill there, go straight for Baron. Peg actually decided to flash into the pit as well, trying to steal away the Baron. Simply didn't work, gave up 2 kills, and now SK Gaming pushing onto this mid lane.
So this is what I'm interested to see now after having that lead in the last game. What are SK gonna do with the lead this time? And it's Svenskeren going absolutely crazy in the middle of the base there. Yellow Star going very, very low. Soaz went low as well. That's gonna open up this inhibitor turret and the inhib itself. The question is, will SK stick around? That's been answered. No, they're gonna go bottom here. They've got another wave pushing up behind the one that's there and go for that turret. No. Okay, gonna spend up.
So just go back. They got a lot of gold now though. Turrets down, Baron gone, of course. Some kills onto Candy Panda here. He should be very happy man at the moment. And SK Gaming can now just push up the wave with even 5 members or keeping Fred in the top lane and just force Fnatic into a team fight where of course Twitch and Orianna are just gonna shine.
So SK Gaming this time have opened up the base of Fnatic. It was what they were unable to do in Game 2. They had that big advantage but could not capitalize on it. This time around, Candy Panda, as he did in that series in the promotion when they were down 2-0 against Super Hot Crew, has plonked the team on his back and gone man mode on this Twitch. He's the man that's starting to create all of the opportunities for SK.
And look at this. Void Staff onto Enrated, going full magic penetration. So he's doing a lot of damage in these fights here. Pile on his Q with the shockwave here, with the spray and pray. There's a lot of AoE damage from SK's side.
Probably gonna be finished off before the intervention can. Well, I mean, even if you do get the intervention off, it's only on one person, so
exactly
not gonna be enough to save the entire team. And SK now are pushing up this bottom lane, as I thought they might have done directly before this one, but obviously wanted to spend up that gold, get themselves the even further advantage of having those stronger items in there with that Baron buff running as well. And here comes a push towards that turret. They can zone them out pretty well just using that Orianna ball here, and that big poke now coming out of Enrated. And there we see the damage. Peke losing just under half of his HP, so as in a similar scenario, and they just keep doing that over and over, and that tower slowly but surely will fall.
Yeah, there's super minions in that mid lane as well. They're going to keep on pushing up there. And SK Gaming are going to keep that pressure down on towards him. The regen from the Baron buff is enough to keep them alive. The Howling Gale is not going to find its target onto that minion wave this time around. And
the second this tower turret falls down, SK can just engage straight onto Fnatic, start the fight, get an inhibitor, and maybe try and finish the game. But Fnatic going in.
Oh, Cyanide leaping on towards this one. Intervention was used, but they don't really care about that. They went towards Yellow Star. Jepeke is having to flash away from this one. Another flash comes out from Soaz. Cyanide, the collateral damage on this one. And Super Minions move on in towards this Nexus turret. SK Gaming looking strong in this game around. No messing. They are not giving up their lead this time around. They will take a win, and it will go 2-1 to SK this time around. Fnatic still hold that lead, but SK are not down and out yet.
So second time we see Fnatic playing a more defensive comp, and actually second time where they fall behind in the early mid-game point. Last time around they got a good team fight, turned it around. This game, however, SK Gaming did no mistakes, and it simply meant that with such a strong team fight comp and with all the the defensive parts of the Fnatic comp, they just didn't have enough shields or heals to do anything about all this damage.
And that is it's kind of obvious to say that is the win that they needed. That is the confidence boost that SK needed coming into this one. A clean victory. I think if that was going to be a messy one, they'd find it a little bit more difficult even next time around to replicate that win. They still need another 2 games in a row against Fnatic to win this best of 5 though. Still a long way to go.
This is the 3rd game in a row SK have outplayed Fnatic at the start in those tower pushes. They seem to know how to do those fast pushes way better than Fnatic. Fnatic again, we were saying it there. I mean, they were slow to respond in game 2. They were even slower in this one. They didn't give up as much of an advantage. They took the towers down, but they didn't get caught out with the kills this time around. But how are they going to counter this? This is a big problem going into game 4 for them.
Well, it's not even so much about counter it. It's more realizing the situation.